Hello, this is Gordo. Welcome back. And today's video is going to be about fathers. In lieu of my dad getting into town today and visiting me, I thought that I would talk about the importance of fathers and why dads matter and why fatherhood is so important. My dad was always somebody who was a great provider and a great leader to my family. He was somebody who went out of his way to really play that traditional role of being the provider of my family of five. So for my mom, my older brother, my sister, and myself, he was a great, in all the traditional senses, he was just a great man. I remember feeling really secure and really peaceful and at home through my dad. My dad was a huge supporter of mine when I was growing up playing soccer. He was the coach of my rec teams. He was always came to my games as I got older in high school and in club. He was always, he was the one being the team manager. He was the one going the extra mile to make sure that not only myself, but even for my brother's hockey team, that he was just present. And that was something that I appreciated a lot. It was something that I valued in him, and I still do to this day. We're all adults now, my siblings, and he still makes the time to, travel up here to Colorado to see me, and that's what he's doing today, and I appreciate that in him. It says a lot about him and his character. I'm not a father. I'm not married. And the things that I value in other men who are in families and who are leading in that regard are the fact that they are taking that call. I think that it's easy. It's not easy. It's easy to become a father. You just have to do the deed, and that happens a lot. In a lot of ways, unprotected sex leads to unplanned pregnancies. That's a real thing. And for me, my dad married my mom, and they met in Houston, Texas, after my dad graduated from college at the University of Texas in Austin, and then my mom was, I think, living in Houston, and they met at some type of church type event, and then they went on to, they just hit it off, and they went the distance, and that's amazing. But I digress. What I was saying is, I live in a little town here in near Denver, and there's families everywhere, and I see the families. I see them walking around, and I see the kids playing, and I work jobs that I have to be around kids. I get to be around kids, and that's a great thing, but it just reminds me of the fact that one day I will be a father, and that'll be such a fulfilling and great time of my life, just because of how the impact that my dad has had on me, and in addition to that, the impact that I want to have on my future children, and how important that is to me internally. And I wouldn't trade that for anything, like the safety and the love and the protection and the guidance and the wisdom that I get from my dad. It it makes me happy when I think about the fact that I'm going to be doing that for my future family and my future kids. And it just makes me excited. It makes me happy because I think a huge part of life, like life's not all about procreation, but you could argue that it is, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, like the meat and the love of life, and 25 years of your life is spent having kids and raising kids and choosing a partner who you want to go through life with, and that's a beautiful thing. It's honestly it's one of the great parts of life is it will be settling down, and I can see that I see other people do that all the time. A lot of my friends are older and they have such a great depth of wisdom, and I see such a great depth of joy within them. And I know that that's inside me, and that desire to be a father, the desire to like raise a family, and I know that will come to fruition one day. Is that day today, tomorrow, next week? No, it's not. I've got a greater purpose that I'm pursuing, and I'm confident in that, and I'm confident in where my life is right now, because that's what I'm being called to do right now. And I'm saying that call is within myself, and it's in my burning passion to serve other men and to create this men's coaching company and to build other men up, to revitalize positive masculinity. These are things that are my core drive, is my core drive and my core love. But it's no but. It's just, I know that one day I'll be sharing my life with a woman that supports me and loves me and wants what's best for me and is compatible with me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, physically. And those are just moments that when I ponder my future, when I reflect, and I don't do this all the time because you can do it, for me at least, I can do it too much to a point where I try not to project too far into the future because I want to live in the day, and I don't want to get lost in the past or the present, the past or the future. I want to stay locked into the present moment. But when I reflect on these things and I think about what my father did for me and raising me and the man that he is, it inspires me, truly inspires me, and I get emotional about it because the dude's he's my biggest fan in the entire world. He's my biggest fan, and I wouldn't trade that relationship that I have with him for anything. And there's this concept in this book that I love. It's called The Way of the Superior Man, and it talks about spiritually, to develop as a man, you have to live as if your father was dead. And the concept of that is you don't want to be living off the expectations of your dad, and you don't want to be living off of this desire to please your father. Like, we all have that within us. I think it took me till I was about 25 to disengage from the being reactionary to my dad, and like not trying to please him or like live in a way that was, validation seeking, I think. And we all go through those periods with our fathers. Everyone has a different relationship with our dad. And I think that too many homes in this country are broken. They're fatherless. They lack spiritual and practical leadership within the home. And that causes a huge breakdown of just how life is supposed to be lived. And within that, that's where you see single moms, that's where you see kids being raised in broken homes, and that's a tough thing. It's super hard. I can't imagine who I would have been or the kind of person that I would have grown up to be if I grew up in a broken home. You know, my family had its own share of issues, and all our families do, some much worse than others. But I'm so grateful that my home was one where I knew that my dad was going to be a leader, you know, and say whatever you want about my father. He's too much of an authoritarian. He's not empathetic enough, or whatever it may be. He had to do what he had to do, and he had to provide for his family, and he had to navigate the difficulties of life to be a father, and he did what he had to do to allow myself, my brother, and my sister to go on and live the best lives that we could. And it's a huge, I don't think about this stuff on a regular basis, right? And I'm only reminiscing on it now because he's going to be visiting me, but it inspires me to want to be the best that I can be and to impact as many people that I can impact through this men's coaching company, because when I look at the compound impact of my dad's efforts within my life, I say, what could I do? What could I do for other guys? What could I do for my future kids, right? And man, it chokes me up when I think about this stuff, because I haven't even started my family yet. I haven't even begun that chapter of my life. But what I do know is that, man, I'm already grateful for it, because I know that when it does come, it's gonna be just some of the best times. Like literally, it's gonna be some of the best times of my entire life, and I've got my dad to thank for that. The fact that I have that opportunity to share that experience with a woman, and to raise a family, and to be a role model, and be a leader within a home. I have my dad to thank for instilling that within me and inspiring me to want to be the kind of man to lead a household, to have virtues, have values, have the things that have gotten me here to this day and will propel me forward for the rest of my life until I'm dead. I just have that immense sense of gratitude for that. Fathers are important, and I want to encourage you, I don't know what your relationship is with your father, but if it's not right, and it's not where it should be, and I feel like we all know when things are not how they should be, right? Like we truly know, because we can sense it. It's an internal gut feeling you have. When I was a teenager, my dad and I had a really shitty relationship. You know, my dad was an authoritarian. He was somebody who led with, in my teenage years, he led with an iron fist, and he led with a my way or the highway type attitude. And it's not I disagree with a lot of his parenting, and that's fine. That's okay. But it led me as somebody who, I needed encouragement as a kid. I needed somebody to encourage me and love me in my own insecurities and my own lack of belief of myself. And he was not the person who did that for me. And that drove a rift in between him and I to a point where we had a really, really rocky relationship from my entire teenage years up until about, like I said, 25. That's 3 years ago. I'm 28 now. And that is something that was really hard to swallow, right? And it drove me to do things outside of my character, and it led me into a lot of bad spaces with bad people and doing the wrong things, dating the wrong girls, making poor decisions, not building a foundation of my life. I think a lot of it was rooted in the fact that I didn't have that rock solid relationship with my dad. And it wasn't until I was able to reapproach it later in life and develop that good relationship that I started to feel more grounded and felt like a deep sense of contentment. So I just want to encourage you, if you don't have that in place with your dad, give him a call. Ask him, take him to dinner, invite him over to your home, talk to him, because he feels the same way that you feel. He loves you a lot, and he wants to be there for you, and he wants you to know that although his relationship with you didn't pan out the way that he would have wanted, he was probably doing the best that he could for the circumstances that he was in, right? And that doesn't mean that doesn't justify any action or say that someone, didn't behave in a way that was wrong, but at the end of the day, guys, you have to learn to forgive, and you have to learn to accept people for where they're at in their life and for who they are, even if that doesn't match your current worldview, or you haven't forgiven them for things that they've done in the past. But I promise you guys, if you guys want peace within yourself, within your own heart and your own soul, that'll come through forgiving. That'll come from letting go of that anger and that pain that you feel. And it doesn't necessarily have to be from your dad, but if it is from your dad, try to address it. Try to change that within him. Try to change the dynamic that you guys currently have. Because I promise you guys, at the end of the initial conversation, and I remember the feelings that I had, to this day, when I think about it, when I go back and I process and I think about those conversations I had with my dad at first, when I was first addressing all the angry things that I had about him, I was just angry. I was pissed. I didn't agree with some of the things that he did when he did when he was raising him and my sister and my brother, and I held that against him. It really frustrated me to see some of the things that, ways that he behaved with my brother. And I'm not going to get into the personal aspects of those things, but I was disgusted with some of the things that he did, and not to my brother, but in parenting of my brother. And when I finally addressed those things with my dad, it broke me. It truly, it broke me, because these are things that I'd suppressed for so long. And that's why I know that, guys, once you start talking to your dad and you start to mend that relationship, know that he's going to be there. He knows where he messed up. whatever he did, his lack of presence, his lack of leadership, his lack of provision, he knows that he didn't do the things that he should have, right? So once you crack this open with him, know that it'll probably open the floodgates. For me, it did. It was quite emotional. A lot of tears, a lot of anger. But once you let that out and express it, what you're left with is clarity. Clarity and love. Because at the end of letting go of the anger and the end of letting go of the pain and letting go of that feeling you have within yourself, there's love underneath that, right? And I guarantee it that a healthy relationship with your dad, it's different, right? And I promise you, you can go from dysfunction to functional. It just takes work, and it takes effort, and it takes a new dynamic and a new frame of reference, a new frame of being, right? Because life's not about holding on to the things that make us that bring us down. It's about accepting and addressing the core fundamental things, and that's tough to do, guys. As guys, like, I get it, you want to maybe not address these things, and I know I didn't. I know that I still do this to this day. I'm pretty damn good at it now, but that's because I've worked on it, and I know that holding on to things inside is more detrimental than just facing it. So a long way to say, I encourage you to reach out to your dads, to work to fix those relationships, work to forgive, work to let go of anger, if it's present, right? If you have a good relationship with your dad, just keep doing what you're doing, and value that relationship, value that, guys, because we don't know how long we have with our parents. We don't know how long we've got with them, and that's not to be morbid, that's to be realistic. Let's think about it. We truly don't know. And when I look back on my life and I think about the things that matter to me, that I'm gonna care about the most, I'm gonna reflect and say, did I spend enough time with my parents in my adult years? Like I said, I'm 28 now. I'll be 30 in 2 years. I'm gonna look back and say, did I spend time, quality time, with my mom and my dad? Did I lean into those relationships? Did I make those relationships important? Did I become too big for them? Did I waste that time? You don't want to say that. You want to say that you did everything that you could. So, all that to say, guys, fathers are important. Becoming a father is important for yourself, your own father, the father figures within your life. I'm also grateful. I've got quite a few guys in my life who are great men who I can lean on, I can reach out to, I can use as a resource, just because they know and they value the importance of being there for guys, younger dudes who are trying to improve their lives. So I just want to encourage you too, if you don't have a father, or your father's not in the picture anymore, that there is someone out there for you who will be your dad. Not be your dad, but like, you know what I mean. Who will love you and will be a father figure for you and will allow you to feel that presence. There's someone out there for you who will do that for you. There are good men out there who are answering that call and are answering the call of wanting to be present in your life and to care about you and to love you and to guide you, right? I've got two fathers. First one is my birth father, second one is God. I value both, but the comfort I get through my faith and the groundedness that I feel within my faith and the comfort I get from my Heavenly Father. And this isn't a sales pitch about God. I'm just being real with you. I'm shooting straight. I'm being completely authentic when I say that there's a peace. There's a peace that you will feel at the end of that road of knowing that you have a Heavenly Father. It'll blow your mind what you can feel within that. So guys, in conclusion, value your dad. Make time for your parents. Make time for your father. Make time to fix that relationship if it's broken, and make time to continue to build that relationship if it's already there. And value the men in your life who are fathers first off, but who are father figures to you, be it a mentor, be it a friend, be it whoever it may be. Reach out to them today and let them know that you care about them. Let them know that their position within your life matters and it's important and it'll always be important. So you do that and know that and find comfort in the fact that your dad matters, and if you don't have a dad, find peace in the fact that you've got a Heavenly Father. And you can find peace in that. This was a longer video and a little bit slower, and this tone of mine is more, I feel really grounded today and peaceful, and maybe it's because my dad's coming, I don't know why, or I just feel really connected and grounded. But I hope that you like the content. I hope that this was helpful, and my hope for you is that you can have a great relationship with your dad, and that you can one day be a father and a leader within your own life that is successful and grounded and empathetic and a good parent and a strong masculine, positive masculine leader. That is my hope for you. My genuine hope is that you can be a man who can lead a home and lead a wife, lead kids, lead a community, lead the nation, lead the world in whatever capacity and niche that you serve within your work or within your passion or your hobby, whatever it may be. You can do this. I truly I believe that you can do this no matter what difficulty you're going through right now, no matter what hell that you feel. You can do this, and you can master your fate. You can steer the ship in the right direction. You can right the ship, You can do everything that you need to do to grow and to be the best man that you can be, because I believe in you. I believe in you. I have faith that you can do it. And that's what I am for you. I'm a big brother and I'm a resource for you to become a better man, because that's what I love to do. That's what my heart is out to do. That's what my passion is. You can do this. Take life by the balls and become who you want to be. You have the support. You have everything that you need. You can do it. If you like this content, if you liked my message today, and you want to support me, shoot a like down below, comment, share this, subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to be here for a while. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be doing this day in, day out. You'll see a lot of me, but know that we're going to be looking back on this. It's 2021. It's October 2021. We're going to be looking back in October 2025, hopefully at videos like this, and saying, dang, maybe I'll be a father. Who knows? Maybe by 2025 I'll be a dad, and I'll be able to speak to you guys with a whole new perspective about what it means to be a dad from the perspective of being a dad. We're going to see what happens, but I'm here for the long haul. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm going to leave you guys with this. Anything's achievable for y'all. Anything's achievable. But first off, let's get aligned with who we are, with our values. Let's get our bodies right. Let's get our minds right. Let's have faith. Let's psychologically heal our trauma. Let's do the inner work that we need to do. And let's become masculine, strong leaders for everybody within our lives and ourselves. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.